How can I get the best out of myself? Now that's a question we all ask now and again, isn't it? Hi, I'm Richard Reed, and what I've noticed is that many people ask that question of themselves or ask someone else to help them get the best out of themselves, and they don't really think through how to do it. Now, if I use an example to explain that, if there are many people in a room and you ask everybody to raise their hand as high as they can in the air, then of course they will. But then if you ask them to raise it higher than that, it's funny, they actually will. Because they didn't actually think it through of how to get the best out of what they were doing. I asked them to raise it as high as they can, but still they were able to do it a bit further. And this is how we treat so many things when we go to start something. And that's why that if we want to get the best out of ourselves and push ourselves even further, we need to think of a few things before we start. In a previous video, I talked about being present. Of course, that's so important when we're coming to do something. So many of us try and do something without actually being present while we're thinking about something else. So we're quite honestly never going to get the best out of ourselves that way. Another thing is, of course, that we spoke about was the physiology, the drinking plenty of water, keeping ourselves hydrated, and also ensuring that we've got enough sleep, because if we're tired or dehydrated, then we're not going to get the best out of ourselves. And then there's, of course, our own psychology. And I spoke about that also in a previous video, where we're not being ourselves, we're not being truthful to ourselves, we're not being our actual selves. And of course, trying to act like somebody else will always prevent us from getting the best out of ourselves. But the big thing on trying to get the best out of ourselves when we've got all those other things in order is the actual productivity, is actually doing it. What we've got to say to ourselves is, what is the most important thing that I've got to do today? The only thing that matters today. Like the holding the arm up example earlier. You know, if that was the only thing that I had to do today, and we were in good shape, and we were being ourselves, being true to ourselves and everything, we were right there, we were right present, and that was the only thing we'd do, then our arms would be up like this, as high as we could possibly go. Those are the things, and the only things, that make a difference between getting the best out of ourselves. Getting the best out of ourselves is not just showing up and saying, I done my best. Because probably you're telling yourself that, but you know you haven't thought it through properly. You didn't do your best, and you can do far better when you think it out. Anyway, I'm Richard Reed. Hopefully you got some value from this video. Please leave a comment below this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Find me on Facebook and send me a message, because I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, take care and see you soon.